Who are those holdouts who still support restrictions on our children? Who are those people out there who still earnestly, it seems, believe that we've got to lock down children, despite the fact almost every day now there are more reports coming out that tell us two things. One, that kids are being harmed, seriously harmed by what we're doing to them right now. And part two, that we learn that coronavirus just not all that serious in children. Very serious in high-risk persons, elderly persons, and so forth. In kids, it's just not. Pediatric experts, top pediatricians, basically saying coronavirus less severe than the flu in children. And rather than acknowledge and celebrate and amplify and take that information and run with it to cobble together better policies, we almost deny it, we hide from it, we plug our ears when that's the information we could be using to help make sure children do not suffer. And yet, we're going to see in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, what have you, long after the vaccination programs are done, lockdowns are over, all that kind of stuff, we're still going to be seeing stories about harms to children, the sort of after effects of it for years to come. And what is the excuse that the last holdouts have right now, almost a year and a half into all of this? I gotta credit some voices out there who pretty much from the beginning were saying, we cannot do this to kids. Top pediatric experts, high-profile individuals saying no, saying schools have to remain open, children's activities have to happen, and so forth. Let's stop doing this to our kids. Let's stop scapegoating them as well. All this psychological drama of, all right, you're 16 years old, it's natural for you to want to go out and explore the world, go gallivanting with your friends, but don't do that. Don't do that because you are going to kill your grandparents. And we go, first of all, that's an extremely, that's mind games to play with them. It's so psychologically abusive. We also have not seen many reports of that actual chain of events occurring. This idea that, oh, well, if we let the kids do this, yes, okay, fine, they're fine, but they may get it, and then they may spread it to this person, that person may get hospitalized, and that person may die, and so forth. Maybe it's happened a couple times, but you know what? It's happened in the past. Family gatherings, a kid has the flu a number of years ago, it gets passed on to someone. We don't play these mind games, though, because these things have actually happened. And you've got to say, you look at those scenarios, and you go, is that a good excuse, though, to basically make kids the scapegoats, make them shoulder all of the blame? If you have those high-risk, vulnerable persons, well, maybe should we just not devise systems where we allow the kids to go and live their lives and we protect the most vulnerable? People have put a whole lot of effort and energy into arguing it's not possible, there's no way we can do that, and so forth, when we also know they never really tried, and yet now the story's really mounting. The justification for some of the latest restrictions was, of course, we've got to protect the hospitals from overflowing. But now we learn that the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, CHEO, they are actually overflowing with mental health hospitalizations, children and teenagers dealing with overdoses, suicide attempts, and eating disorders is the big thing. Very serious eating disorders that require hospitalizations. You've got pediatric specialists in those hospitals saying, we have not seen anything like this in our entire careers, in decades. It's through the roof. Other hospitals have said similar things previously. And then CHEO is saying we're going to have to actually redirect some of those youth patients and put them into beds in adult hospitals. So we go, well, hold on a second. We said we have to go into lockdown to protect the hospitals. Well, now we've got children's hospitals being overwhelmed because of the lockdown. So if you bought that previous logic, shouldn't the logic now, I guess, be that you've immediately got to end restrictions on kids because it's filling the hospitals? It makes you wonder, who are these last holdouts who support all of these restrictions on kids? And what more evidence do they need to hear? What more do they want to see to acknowledge, guys, we got to stop doing this?